What is up, everyone? I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a quick little install. Well, I wouldn't say quick just because I want to make things look nice, but as you guys can see from the little sneak peek here, we're installing the Ironman light bar as well as the pods, and we'll be using the Prinsu mounts to mount it all up. So just some specs. This is the Ironman 4x4 37-inch single row LED 180 watt light bar. That's a lot of words, but anyway, the max size that we could fit on the Subaru Prinsu rack is 40 inches, and I think 37 is good, so I'm really happy with that. That's the light bar itself. Then going to the pods. Let me take all this out here. This is the actual pod. As you can see, it's a side shooter. This is a 3-inch pod, which is a perfect size for a look. You know, you don't want too much. And then these are the actual mounts from Prinsu that'll go onto the 80/20. So before we start, I kind of want to talk real quick about just the cost to use ratio. So how much are you really going to use your lights? And that's why I went with Ironman. Ironman's prices aren't crazy to the point where they're going to break the bank. I truly think that all of us, unless you like off-road in the desert a lot or at night, we're not going to use our lights that much. And so having a good setup that is going to be reliable when you need it and it'll last being off for long amounts of time will be good. So I really recommend going with this stuff, and right now they're having a 20% off holiday sale on a lot of stuff, the Subaru ATS kit, lighting, control arms, etc. So make sure to go check it out. One thing to know is that to wire it all up, I will be using the Trigger Controller 4 Plus. So I already have it wired. Since I already had my old setup, I have all the wiring already ran. It's literally going to be just plug and play, but I want to walk you guys through that process so you guys could see what it's like. And again, I'll walk you through how you would wire the trigger and everything. And I think I actually have it disconnected right now, so you guys will actually see how to plug in the battery terminals, etc. So definitely stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching, and drop any comments you guys have down below. I really like to get your guys' feedback. So thank you guys, and stay tuned.
So let's get started. So we're actually first going to take off the Ironman 4x4 awning. I have it on the quick release mounts, which are this easy to take off. Check it out.
So as you guys can see, we actually have everything off now. Let me focus in on here real quick. So this here, this 80/20 up here is where the light bar brackets will go. So I'm going to take this whole fairing off using this T30 connection. I'm going to show you guys that process, and I'm also going to take off this mount just to give me more space. But as you guys can see, I already have my wire ran here. I already had that, so I'm not going to walk you guys through that too much. But first step definitely is to take off this fairing.
So here I'm using my Milwaukee driver with the T30 Torx adapter. It's going to make it really easy to take off the fairing, which is really pivotal to installing the whole thing. Really recommend doing this step.
So as you guys can see, I have the fairing off now. Again, the brackets will be going on top here, and I just took off the sides of the fairing. One thing to know is that you do have to use a T30 Torx screw adapter to get this all off. I have mine on my Milwaukee. I really recommend you guys to do that, but overall, it looks super clean. So, sorry, it does not look super clean. It's dirty. I'm just saying the 80/20 was cut good, but now we're going to actually route the wiring to the actual light bar, put it on here, and see what it looks like. So stay tuned. So now the next step is to actually take off the awning bracket holder. So I'm just using a ratchet with an 11, and it's super easy to take off, but I think it's going to give us enough space to wiggle in the light bar where we need it. Cool, so now we have the actual fairing off, we have the awning bracket off. We're going to put on the Prinsu light bar mounts on. So these things are as easy as just sliding in your bolt here, as you guys can see, and bolting it up. So I'm going to walk you guys through that process real quick, and just kind of show you guys what it should look like at the end of the day, and then we'll put the light bar on. So here we go. Cool, so now to actually mount the brackets, you're going to take your carriage bolts and you're actually just going to slide them in to the 80/20. And there's not really a specific location per se, but you guys will see as we go through. So now I'm actually going to mount this guy up. So as you guys can see, I kind of have it flipped over just so that I could still reach the brackets to actually tighten it. And I am going to move this over so I can get it centered. But all you're going to do is take this little like lock washer they give you with the short Allen bolt, and you're just going to go into the side of the light bar here, if I could line it up. And yeah, so that one's in. Now we're going to suit this guy over. We'll do the same thing on this side, and then we'll center it up, and the mounting part of this will be over. But yeah, easy peasy, as they say, pretty much. Now taking the Allen wrench they give you and just tightening this. Cool, so now we actually have the whole light bar on. I just want to kind of center it. It looks centered, but just want to verify. So on this end, we're reading 3 1/4, and on this end, we're reading 3 1/4, right on the money. So I'm just going to tighten these down, then I can put it back on and wire it up, but super easy.
So now that we have the light bar on, we're gonna take it and set it in place. I'm just gonna leave the fairing there in order to just hand tight one of the bolts. As you guys saw, the actual light bar is not set in place. It has some wiggle, but I just wanna get it kind of mocked up, if you will. Then I'm gonna hand tighten in the bolt, set it up, then use my Milwaukee again with the T30 adapter and just tighten it to where I want it. You are gonna see some play in the rails, but that is needed to keep it in place. But overall, just make sure you tighten it good so it doesn't fly off on the road.
So now, as you guys can see, we actually have the whole light bar on. I love how that looks. But again, all we took off were these 2 bolts to take off this fairing and then put the Prinsu brackets on. So I love how flush it fits, and I'm just gonna set it where I want it and it should be good to go. But again, check it out, this is it. Ironman 37-inch. I just want to show you guys real quick what my plan is to wire this guy up. So let me focus here. As you guys can see from the back, we have the wire coming off to a positive and a negative. I'm going to use these little butt connectors to connect to the OEM connection that I had, which is this guy here that I already ran. And I really recommend using this tool, which is a crimper, if you guys don't have it yet. It's gonna make your life way easier. I know I'm not going into too much depth on wiring just because of how straightforward it is. You know, this is red and black, and I already have another red and black down here, and I'm just gonna connect them together using this butt connector. So anyway, just wanted to walk you guys through that. As you guys can see, we actually have it wired up now. The blues are on, all good to go. So it's just that easy. I don't know how focused it is, but the whole thing is good. So now we move on to the light pods, but I'm really excited with how this looks. See, the light bar is finally done. We got the awning bracket back on, but really happy with how this is looking. Wiring's all good. The Prinsu mounts are perfect for this thing. But yeah, as you guys saw, it's a really easy process. Hardest part, I think, is wiring it. Now I'm gonna walk you guys through how to put in the trigger, and we're gonna do these guys here. So cool, I think we're good. So as you guys can see, this is the old light, and now these are the new Ironman pods I'm putting in the 3 inches. Thankfully, they both have the old same connector. I'm using the ADF kit to kind of lift the lights up, if you will, but I'm gonna show you guys how to connect the trigger and all that. This is super easy to put on. All you do is you connect this bracket, you put your bolt through, and then you take a washer and a nut, and it's on. And again, the easy part is that they're already wired how I need them to be, so it's gonna be pretty simple. After this, we should be done really quick, so stay tuned. Cool, now I wanna walk you guys through how we're actually gonna wire up the trigger. So as you guys can see, I have it taped here because we had some issues. So I'm gonna go ahead and untape that. One thing to note is that we're gonna connect the positive onto here and the negative onto black. We are not gonna take them off the battery terminals. I wanna make that very clear. There's some connections on top here that we could just go to. I always get the question, what fuse tap do you go to? I go to the front fog fuse under the trigger, and I'll show you guys a little bit more in depth later on, but just again to show you guys, you're gonna need a 10 and a 12 key to actually take these off, and we're gonna connect those right now. So here it is.
So once I finally start taking this tape off, I have everything loose. I just want to make it clear that the trigger comes with a positive red, a black negative, and the yellow is a live wire. As you guys can see here, I'm taking off the negative side, which uses a 10mm socket. I kind of put it in place so it could stay there, hand tightened it back in, then again I used the ratchet just to tighten it down. The next step after this is going to be to do the positive. I'm going to go over the live wire later, but again, this is a 12. I'm using the same 12 socket. I put that in place, kind of try to make it as nice as I can, tighten it with my hand, and we're good to go. That's it.
Cool, so now as you guys can see, we have the positive and the negative connected, and now we just have the fuse tap left. So my fuse tap I have done a while ago when I first set this up. But again, I go off the front fog fuse, so it's as easy as taking out that fuse, using this fuse tap that I got on Amazon, and just placing it in. And this is the like low profile fuse tap, and then you're able to just plug that in, and now we're live, as they say, and that's that. So now as you guys can see, we're good to go. I'm just gonna take this up to be sure, but we'll do a little taste real quick, see if it's on, and yes, we have power. Beautiful. See the top? Yes, everything's working. You guys can see now we have the actual trigger connected up. We did the positive, we did the live wire, and we did the negative. And just to give you guys a little taste real quick, let me focus it on here. We're going channel 1, we have light, and channel 3, which I have my fogs on, we have light 1 and 2. So yeah, it's that easy to plug up the trigger. I mean, once you set this in, you tap it, you plug the positive and the negative in, we're good to go. So yeah. Dope. So now we're done. As you guys saw, we connected the light pods, the light bar, we used the Prinsu mounts, and to wire it all up, we used the trigger. I mean, I already had some things done, so it's really straightforward. I walked you guys through real quick how to wire. If you guys have any more questions on wiring, make sure to DM me on @thetrailtrek on Instagram, or here on YouTube, comment down below and I will answer. Again, we put the light pods, the light bar, the Prinsu mounts, we wired up the trigger. I really hope this was a quick little install to show you guys. I hope you guys liked it. Again, thank you guys for supporting. If you guys have any questions at all, DM me. Have a good day and be safe.